Hi, it's Thursday, October 24th. I'm professional sports handicapper Ross Benjamin. It's time for another edition of my NFL free picks, and we are going to use three games on Sunday, October 27th in the NFL. Before I get to those free picks, coming off a rough week last week, folks. Uh, haven't had a week like that in over 3 months. So let's just move on. It happens. Still, over the last 39 free pick videos, 60 and 46. That's good for 57%. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button below. It costs you absolutely nothing. There's no hidden agenda. There's no ulterior motive. It's what keeps these videos alive. Just hit that subscribe button below and become a member on this YouTube channel, and you'll be notified right away whenever I publish a free pick video on this channel. Let's get right to the three picks. Let's start with the game between the Giants and the Detroit Lions, a game that will be played at Ford Field in Detroit. 1 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. We're going to concentrate on the total in this game, which is currently 48.5. To be blunt, both of these defenses are absolutely terrible. As a matter of fact, Detroit, over their last three games, is allowing 33 points per game in addition to 462.7 yards per contest. That's not very good at all, folks. And the Giants defense, in their three games they've played on the road this year, allowing 33.7 points and 473.3 yards per game. All three of those road contests the Giants played in went all over the total, and it was a combined 54.7 points scored per game. Saquon Barkley returned to the lineup from his high ankle sprain last week. He shook off a little bit of the rust, and I expect him to be much better this week, and he should be able to take advantage of a Detroit defense that's allowing 139 yards per game on the ground this season, and as well as 4.9 yards per rushing attempt. As a matter of fact, Detroit's last two games were against Green Bay and Minnesota, and in those two losses, they allowed a combined 336 yards rushing and over 5 yards per rushing attempt. And getting that ground game going will certainly help rookie quarterback Daniel Jones with play action passing and opening up the passing game in general. Matthew Stafford, on the other hand, a veteran star quarterback for the Detroit Lions, enjoying a fine season. He's thrown for 13 touchdowns against 3 picks while averaging a robust 291.8 yards per game in the air. I'm going with the Giants and Detroit game to be a high-scoring affair. We're going over 48.5. The next game, the Philadelphia Eagles travel to New Era Field in Buffalo to take on the high-flying Bills, who come in with a 5-1 record. The opening kickoff is slated for 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Buffalo right now is a 1.5-point home favorite. Philadelphia will be playing in their third straight road game, which is never an easy task. And if you go back and check NFL data over the last 40 years or so, teams playing in their last of a 3-game road trip don't fare well straight up, and straight up the straight up numbers certainly come into play here when you're looking at the Bills just laying 1.5. Philadelphia is, by the way, in the first 2 games of the road trip, 0-2 straight up in ATS against Dallas and Minnesota. They committed 7 turnovers in those games, and their defense allowed a combined 75 points and 839 yards. This is also a Buffalo franchise that's been stuck in mediocrity up to this point over in recent years. However, you go back and look at their last 16 home games when facing opponents with a win percentage of .545 or less. They're 14-2 straight up in those games. And by the way, the Eagles come in today, or Sunday, I should say, with a 3-4 record and a .428 win percentage. So they certainly qualify in that regard. As well as the fact is, if those games, within those 16 games, if they were facing a non-division opponent, the Bills improved to 10-1 straight up in their last 11 at home in that role. Buffalo, since the tail end of 2017, has been between the point spread parameters of +3 to -3 6 times, and they won each of those games straight up and covered on 5 of those 6 occasions. I like the Buffalo Bills here, -1.5 at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. Last game, the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Both teams red hot, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. San Francisco is 6-0 as we speak. Carolina started the year 0-2. They won their last 4. By the way, kickoff time 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And both teams, as I alluded to, red hot. You look at Carolina, though. Here's what a little bit leery of the Panthers defensively over their last 2 games against Tampa Bay and Jacksonville. Not exactly the NFL elite. They've allowed 26.5 points and 457 yards per game. And if not for the fact that they were bailed out by forcing 10 turnovers combined in those 2 games, those numbers would have escalated even higher. Forcing that amount of turnovers over that 2 game period, it's just not sustainable, folks. And if you look at on the other side, San Francisco defensively, over their last 3 games, they've allowed a combined 10 points and 166.3 yards per contest. That's absolutely phenomenal defense. And you know, Jimmy Garoppolo, since he's come over to San Francisco, some people may not realize, but he's 18-3 as a starter for the San Francisco 49ers when healthy. And you know what? The 49ers in those 21 games, they've also gone an extremely profitable 14-7 against the spread. I'm going with the 49ers here, -5.5 over the Carolina Panthers. Repeating again, the New York Giants and Detroit Lions over 48.5. The Buffalo Bills -1.5 over the Philadelphia Eagles, and the San Francisco 49ers -5.5 over the Carolina Panthers. Those are your 3 free picks in the NFL for Sunday, October 26th. Be sure to visit my website. That's rbwins.com, folks. I know we had a rough week with our free pick videos here last weekend, but last weekend my paid selections at my website, which are my late releases, they went a combined 7-2 in the NFL and college football. That's rbwins.com, where you pay a little to make a lot. Until the next time, good luck with all your picks.